Hola, bon dia, alegria. Munson here with a Good Morning Portugal show, a live stream and podcast. And that theme tune comes into its own, doesn't it? Because Warren Sharm wrote that as a Christmas tune, actually. It went along with some of our light up Christmas videos. That's what we were doing, isn't it, over the last couple of years. It is the advent calendar of memes, the G Meme P calendar this year, which you can find at goodmorningportugal.com, and we'll publish open another window on the meme-based advent calendar this year. And we got a lovely surprise for the 24th, a lovely little reveal. Not exactly a meme, but a lovely Christmas gift from this community to you. Talking of gifts, thank you so much to Kat and Michael for these treats here. I was going to wait, but I couldn't last night when we got in. We had a little late night run on the beach in San Martino de Porto. Spent a lot of time in town yesterday at the Expat meetup. Lovely to see you, Astrid and Jerry. Lovely to hang out with everybody else there as well. I sat at a table with 4 Swedes. And apparently, there's quite the gathering of Swedish people in Nazaré, or the Sitio part, so much so that it's now, I've renamed it Sweetio, which they quite liked. And apparently, the short form of Carl is Kalle, which isn't really much shorter than Carl, is it? It's actually longer. But they have a long history of Carls in Sweden, and you get called Kalle if you're if it becomes friendly, which it did, which was lovely. So a great lunch. Thanks, Marco. Great to see everybody at that meetup yesterday in the Storytellers. Yeah, running around on the beach late last night, and then back to these lovely treats. So thank you, the Whitbees. I don't know if I should try and eat these on air, because it might break the last of my remaining British teeth live on air, which would be quite a good viral video. Watch the English guy's teeth snap in real time. But no, maybe I shouldn't do that. Anyway, tudo bem? Como estás? How are you doing? Veronica joining us real soon, and the other Kalle. I don't know if he's ever been to Sweden and discovered that. But yeah, Veronica joining me in just a moment. We'll say a few hellos, and Carl from the agency, Carl Hyde, the British gentleman in Lisbon, will be joining us as well. And a few things to share with you. And of course, at this time of year, it's really not far away, is it? It's only, 6 days until Christmas Day, 5 days until Christmas Eve, where the main celebration of Christmas is here in Portugal, of course. So it's beginning to feel a lot like Christmas. It's just around the corner, isn't it? With that weekend between now and Christmas, it really is just round the corner. And if you want to send birthday greetings to Mrs. M, it's her birthday tomorrow. And it's a very significant one on the 20th of December tomorrow. I don't know if I should say any more than that. 21 again. Morning, Coach. And you have shared with us your secrets of a harmonious family gathering at Christmas. Bom dia, Gumpers, e feliz quinta-feira. The build-up to our family gathering continues. As to the secret of keeping it civil, which is such a beautiful British turn of phrase, I'm wishing you season's greetings and a most civil of Christmases. Don't drag it out. Yes, keep it brief. Feed them well and focus on the children. It could have been Mrs. Beaton herself who said that. Don't drag it out. Feed them well and focus on the children. Oh, and good parenting skills as well. Very good. The alpha male, the patriarch of the Turner clan there, with his harmonious Christmas tips and God Squad tips of the day as well. We'll come back to those in the company of Veronica and Carl a little bit later on. T-Duck was in at 8:56, just before the show started, with the Bon de Alegria Gumpers. And lovely to see Anna, Sweden, Portugal, Bon de Alegria from a very misty Quarteira this morning. Oh, had a hilarious exchange with Marco yesterday. He said to me, quarto. I thought he said quarto. And I'm thinking, hold on, is he offering me a room so I can have a siesta after my lunch at the Storytellers yesterday? And he's saying sexta as in Friday, no, sexta as in siesta. And he said, no quattro, no quarto. And oh my goodness, it was so complicated. It was like 2 or 3 key words that got into a right old pickle. Suffice to say, we will be broadcasting from the Storytellers in the new year, in the remixed Good Morning Portugal show. All the things and people I think you know and love, and even the ones you don't so much, perhaps. But And we'll be having fun with a slightly remixed lineup, and we will be starting earlier too. Bom dia, Gumpers, from James as well. Feliz quinta a todos, como va todos. Jackie's in as well. Good morning to you, James. Good morning to you, Jackie. Jackie and James. Sounds like a ladybird book, doesn't it? Jackie and James are Gumpers. Do you know what Gumpers are, children? Bom dia, todos, from Antonio F. Bom dia, Antonio! Right back at you there, Antonio, from James. Beautiful sunny day in Lisbon. Isn't that fantastic? If you are wandering about in Lisbon, just be careful with the runaway coaches like this. Now, there are more polite ways of asking for a mayor delete, I think, than that. And I'm sure already this morning, Shager are blaming the immigrants for that. People are expecting Donald Trump to step off it, or Putin, Russian interference, or a drone driving it, or artificial intelligence. I don't know. All of those theories are live at the moment. But wow, be careful. Hopefully, lightning doesn't strike twice in the same place. And Orient Station is a much safer place to be this morning. Imagine the health and safety officers are wandering around Orient Station. Yes, handbrake on. Very good. Excellent. To the bang. Wonderful. Okay. Yeah, thankfully, nobody was hurt. Thank you, Deagle, for sending me that clip that was circulating fast and furious. It was the messages on Twitter are moving even faster than that coach was as it crossed the pavements there. A couple more greetings in before we bring Veronica on. Jackie, bon dia, Carl. It's a great theme tune and a fab start to that. I love it. I absolutely love it. It is a bit of a Marmite tune. I think it's not everyone's cup of tea because it's in a bit of a jazz vibe, which I absolutely love. But probably even those who weren't big fans at first, hopefully it's etched into your subconscious and it's anchored in good feelings every morning. Bon dia, it's Christmas cookie baking day. Save some for us. Marcus at Casa de Lomba. Yay! Oh, that sounds lovely. I'm sure the aromas will be beautiful. If only you could convey those to us. But I'm getting it. I'm getting top notes of cinnamon. Be careful. We published a public service announcement from Johnny Cocktail yesterday on the channel. There is lead in some of the cinnamon powders, so be careful. There's a little link to which ones are the culprits. So I'm still moving away from the dark side of canela. I imagine there will be some cinnamon involved. Warm butter, cinnamon, the smell of sugar, caramelizing sugar. Stop it, Marcus. Bom dia, Portugal, from João Ernesto de Norte as well. And yes, indeed, T-Duck parking brakes are not toys. Make sure they are firmly applied, if you will, if you're driving a coach today. Shout out to all the coach drivers. It can happen to anyone. Nice big round of applause. Here she is, back from the United States.
Hello. Good morning, Portugal. Good morning, Carl.
Como estás? Lovely to have you back in the country.
Muito bem, too.
And but home for Christmas. That's what we've called the show today. Double meaning for real estate agents. See, home for Christmas. And you said that to me just before we were starting the show this morning. You feel like you're home, right? After your little trip.
Oh, this is home. This is totally home. And you know how much I love to travel. It's my thing. No matter where I go, when I come back here, you can just feel the density in the air, the barometric pressure, all of it. It's like, this is it. This is home. This is home.
Tell me more about that. That you're sensitive to air pressures, are you? How does that manifest? What goes on there?
I don't know. Can't you just feel it? Like the air itself is a right amount of mixture of pressure, humidity. It just feels like right. It's like you walk out at the airport and you're like, this is it. It feels, your whole body just feels, this is it.
I think I get that. Now you mention it. I think I get that when I walk past the bacalhau in the supermarket. I do know what you're talking about. Something changes, doesn't it? And I am at home here in Portugal.
Yeah. And going into the square and feeling that energy and the life versus, we all love California, but the density and the amount of people squished in in a little tiny area and everybody living in their cars, because I know I say it often, but it's the land of strip malls and housing development. You've got to drive 3 miles to the nearest store. You don't just walk around the corner.
Sorry, I thought you literally. I mean, there are people living in their cars as well, aren't there? But yeah, I guess you have to spend a lot of time in your vehicle to get from one thing.
You do. But even walking outside, it doesn't feel the same. It used to feel that way when I first went home to California. That okay, this is the air pressure, the density, all of it. But it's all changed. Like this is it.
How amazing! Your body has acclimatized. Something's occurred, hasn't it? I have to say that I did love your videos of driving down the strips there with the palm trees. That to me is just it's so iconic. I've seen it in films. I've seen it in music videos. I've driven when I went to stay with my relatives in Bel Air. Don't you know? My cousin said, "Do you want to drive the kids to school?" These are my second cousins, I suppose. And he just threw the keys to me, and I was able to drive from Bel Air through LA, to take the kids to school down those famous streets. And they are so iconic and wonderful. So I guess you must have had a bit of a buzz seeing them. Was it Huntington where you sent videos from?
Yeah, Huntington Beach. Huntington and Newport Beach are places that Huntington Beach is where I grew up on the beach pretty much, right? We just lived on the beach as kids. And you could take the bus yourself today. I don't think anyone takes the bus, but you could. If you're young, grab your board and go. And, we all knew we'd be at lifeguard station number 1 or 3, which were right next to the pier. And you'd hang out with all your friends and have bonfires because they'd have the big fire pits. And it was such a great way to grow up. I do have to say, I did love it growing up. But when I grew up there was nothing. I mean, if we were hungry, there was like some super expensive fancy restaurant and a Jack in the Box. And that was it. And a little waffle cone place. We used to get ice creams. But now it's wall-to-wall shops and stores and just people. And you saw how crowded it was even driving down the street. And then Newport Beach. I lived in Newport Beach as well, where we used to just walk across the street with the kids. And go to the beach in Balboa Island, but it's just so dense. It's not
what it was.
And maybe that's why I love living here so much. Where I do live is right on the ocean, and it's the big wide open ocean nobody knows about. So, they all go to the tourist traps to go to the beach because you can pull right up, versus where we go here in town, you have to go through a pine forest. So it's just wide open beaches, and maybe that's why I love it so much. It reminds me of my childhood before.
Yeah, I'm sure that will have a lot to do with it, and how lucky
was over,
you are. Absolutely
overdone.
Wonderful. Yeah. T-Duck was born in California, not too bothered about going back either, by the look of it this morning.
Where in California, T-Duck?
Where, T-Duck? And hola, Boas Festas from Aviva, who's just joined us.
Boas Festas.
I have to say, I do miss the low humidity of I nearly read that as dessert.
Sure.
But desert, of course, that is.
The dessert.
The dessert. We have very high humidity desserts here in Portugal, don't we? Because a lot of egg in there. Right. There's this other California, everybody, called Northern California. A totally different set of icons, atmosphere, and culture. That's where those big trees are, I think, isn't it?
Totally.
New.
Totally. The sequoias kind of on the inside, Yosemite sequoias. So Northern California has been dense for a very long time, and is very much like Lisbon, right? Because they've got the maker of the same bridge. You've got the little streetcars. You've got the hills. The old Victorian homes, and I guess they just had some big earthquakes too. But yeah, the North wanted to succeed from the South because we take all their water.
Is that right? Oh, not another North-South divide. What are humans
like?
Honestly?
Absolutely. They don't like us down South. We're too laid back. They're like, go, rush.
San Francisco Bay Area is where Tito was. And it's funny. And look, he got the first messages in 1985. He's an early adopter of moving out of the area. You're getting greetings from Antonio F. this morning.
Hi, Antonio. Bon dia.
Armando.
Armando. Oh, Armando. We worked at the same company and we met up here. It was really funny.
How lovely. Good to see you.
And we sent a message to our old boss, retired in Portugal. See you, Lisa.
Okay. He's making me say it. He's saying never say LA.
LA. Why can't you say LA?
Yeah, why can't we say that? Bon dia,
we Veronica. Say it, and I lived in LA.
Yes, I loved it. I really loved it. But I can understand why it would drive people nuts as well. Incredible. It didn't you? It's
No,
exciting.
it was LA.
For me, yeah, like I say, it just reminded me of so many videos and films I'd seen, and there I was driving in it, like I was driving the car. Oh, because of the Lakers. All right,
You don't say SF or the city.
Right. Okay. All right. But it's the Lakers. Why we're not mentioning LA apparently. So there's all the sporting rivalry as well. I think the LA Lakers there. Well, suffice to say, you're happy to be back, right? You're happy to be back, and Christmas in Portugal. I take it. Then you're not popping off somewhere else to visit before. No, that's it. Definitely here. And this is our chance to reflect on the year, isn't it? I love this time of year here on the Good Morning Portugal show because we're a bit more relaxed. I mean, I think we're quite relaxed anyway, but we get even more relaxed. Like, how was that year for you? What are you looking forward to in the year ahead? So, yeah, how has 2024? Because in the scheme of things, you've had quite a brief time here in Portugal. This might have been, a quarter or a quarter of your time here this last year, 2024. How's it been?
Well, we're going on 8 years now.
Oh, 8 years, okay.
Yeah, 8 years. So it's been a bit before the herd came over, and everybody's saying, "Close the doors, stay home." Right. Yeah. Which we are kind of saying. I'm turning a lot of my videos to private or membership because I want more of a concierge approach. I don't want people just coming just to come. Like, you've got to do your research and make sure this is right for you, right? Yes.
I was with Jerry and Astrid yesterday. I had a very interesting chat with them. The latest spike in interest in Portugal from Americans is turning up some really crazy questions. Jerry said he was asked if we have roads here by somebody.
And why would you even move here if you don't even know there's roads?
And then what's the best place to move to? I've heard that some places speak 80% English. 80% of the people there speak English. So we'll assume we can get jobs there as well. These are people,
jobs. They
haven't done much research, have they? So is that what you're responding to, that panic, are you?
Yeah. I've had a few people just email and say, "Oh, we've moved here. We need your help." And it's like, no. You do all your planning before you get here.
Hi, we're at the airport.
You need to have proper visas. You need to have done your financial planning because the NHR is gone. Like, it's not for everybody.
Right. Yeah.
And I mean, there's people that are very impulsive and do that and go, "Oh, we're going to go move in Mexico," or go, then you find out you're in a town with a bunch of cartels and go, "Is it a good idea?"
Wait, get out of here. Right. And the cops. That was my other experience that time in America when I got pulled over by a Mexican cop. But we figured it out. It was a slight dent to the holiday budget, but we figured it out.
So you had to pay them and then they took your shoes.
No, I kept my shoes. I didn't end up
with people's shoes all the time.
It's really?
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway, we're into a different part of migration, and that's very interesting then. So you are going more concierge, a bit more.
Yeah, I really want people doing their research because it's to show up and not even have realized you need a visa, or the capital gains taxes can hit you here, or there's things that you have to plan. And if you're just leaving there because you don't like it there, wherever you go, that's where you're at, right?
Right. So you need to stay, isn't it? Yeah.
Figure out what's wrong there and, where you want to be and mentally get in that state before you go somewhere else. Otherwise, you kind of bring this negative attitude of,
we don't want that, do we? We don't need that.
Yeah. So you've really got to plan and look and investigate and visit a couple of times.
Yeah. Don't panic. So people are just rocking up, are they? And saying, "I want to live here." And they've come as a tourist and they're saying, I want to live here. How do I do it?
Yeah. And they've taken that away. There was a few years ago where people are moving here and then getting their kind of emergency immigration. And the government stopped that, I think, because of all of the immigrants for work. And there's not a lot of work here, guys. You're not going to move here and work. This is
bring
not
your work with you.
Bring your work with you.
Yeah.
Bring your work remote. Find a job that's really well paid and lets you work remote, and then move here, because you can't come here and take their jobs. I mean, it's just or their rentals. That's the big deal we always talk about. If you have no intent to live and buy and invest here, which is what the government originally did the NHR program for, then it's not for you. You can't take the rentals from the people who need rentals or spike up the price in rentals.
Yeah.
You've got to be cognitive of what's going on.
Adding to the economy rather than taking away, right? Or becoming
there you go. Yeah, what can you bring to the table?
Yes, indeed. That said, Ima, thank you for this, bringing this to my attention, T-Duck. This is good news for anyone who is in this process. Ima consultations leap from 800 to 6,000 consultations a day. And they slashed a load as well, I think, earlier in the last few days, didn't they? Got rid of several thousand. In fact, no, I won't say that. Check for yourself. I'm just adding hyperbole to the mix. They're getting a bit carried away. But they have slashed through a lot of applications that were sort of non-applications. So IMA really are getting to be doing their job now, and the long-awaited changes are now among us, it would seem. So that's great news. Thank you for that. I'll pop the link to that into the chat for anybody who wants to have a look at it. Right, you sent us.
That's really good because I'm illegal. I gave up. I was calling them all day every year. Yeah, the 5-year update, even though I have EU citizenship. You're supposed to go in, and it was right as SEF was changing to IMA, and then you just go in this black hole, and they say log on online, but you can't log on online because you have the old log on. And if you're an EU citizen, nobody seems to care. So kind of in that illegal state, but not really, because they have no problem charging me for Social Security and VAT and all that stuff. So.
That's interesting, isn't it? Yeah, that part of the deal seems to be holding up well.
Yeah, I pay them all the time.
But and again, no problems on your return from the States, because that's what people are fearing, isn't it? Is coming back into the country. Was everything okay with that?
Oh, it was totally fine. Yeah, completely fine. Because again, with the EU citizenship, again, they just don't care. You're supposed to register here, which I did in 2017. Yes. And then you're supposed to renew at 5 years, which then you become a resident, like a permanent resident. But there's no way to do it. You call AIM and nobody picks up. Or if you call 80 times and get through, they hang up on you. So there's just
you gave up. No, fair enough. But I hope you kept a little bit of a log of your activity to show that you have been trying. Yeah, exactly. And you're not going to like the wages here either. That's right. I mean, if you imagine that somebody thinking, well, I'll go to the town where they speak the most English, I'll get a job, and their first paycheck, an American is going to be quite surprised at their first paycheck, I suspect, as well. As James is saying there, you're not going to like the wages here. So yeah, please. I mean, I don't know if we get those sorts of people watching the show, but your advice to them would be like, back up the truck, don't panic. You need to think about this, right?
Absolutely. I mean, it's time to be real. The Portugal of today is not the Portugal of 10 years ago. And the housing prices, even mine, has gone up more than double.
Wow. Yeah.
And we were like in a little hidden corner. And it's so many people moving here. And there's one company, and I won't give its name, but they just promote it's cheap, it's easy, it's da-da-da-da-da. And they sell a whole bunch of marketing materials. And they sell it as a lifestyle around the world and the cheap places to live around the world. But it's just not realistic.
No, okay. Maybe you can send me that privately then. I'm intrigued. I'm intrigued now.
You say international wine, but that's not its name.
Oh, I think I know who you mean. Right. Okay. Wow. Yeah. Well, interesting times then. Gemini also here this morning. Good morning, everyone. Good to see you, Pam. Good to see you too as well. It feels like a Friday to me for some reason. It really does. I'm wanting to say Bon fin de semana, but this whole week has felt like a Friday, which is, I suppose, a good thing to be able to say. Looking forward then to the next year, 2025. What have you got at 9:25? Let's look at 2025. What you got planned, and how are you feeling about the new year, Veronica?
Oh, I love the new year. I'm so excited. I did go back home for a couple of months. So I was to start a new article in the East Algarve magazine, a monthly column, but I had to push it to January. So that'll start next month on, guess what, my favorite subject, the secrets of Portugal, alluding to the Knights Templars and all the things hiding in plain sight. Yes, so when you go into cathedrals and you go, oh, what's that serpent for? Is it a bad guy? No, that's about knowledge. And it could be, some energy, vibrational crossing lines. It could be. And I got on a Freddie Silva tour. So remember our favorite author?
Yes.
So I'll be on his tour next year where he's showing me his secret up in Cintra, where he shows us his secrets in Cintra and Tomar. And the different tour than the one you and I went on. Yeah. I think it was Mrs. M that went on that tour. I can't remember.
Yeah, I didn't see that. Was Peter Moore. Peter Moore does tours in Tomar.
Yeah. But this is the more hidden, you have to know the locals. to get the real story and have done some deep research versus
exciting.
what the mainline story is, right? So
spiritual Portugal we're talking about. We love this subject, don't we? And we got some clues, didn't we? And we got thrown off the track because we were told there was an amazing secret in Tamar, and it turned out to be something quite different to what we were imagining. We were looking for, we were looking for the keys to enlightenment, and ended up with something quite different that Saturday evening in the square there. But this is great. So Freddie Silver actually does tours, and it's quite a struggle to get on them, is it?
It's impossible to get on them. It was a lottery. Like everybody had to. It was called Invisible Temple Tours and Sacred Journey Tours, and you've got to put in your email. And so I put in my email. One of my friends put in my email her email that wanted to go, and we got lucky. My email got picked because they only take 30 people once a year.
Blimey, okay. So Freddie Silver. I'm looking at the website now. Freddie Silver, Portuguese by the sound of it. Can you tell us more?
He is Portuguese. Yeah, right. So he grew up in Cintra, and his parents had gone off to London to get a job and left him with his grandparents. And he lived on the land. They were farmers, and he got to know all the secrets of Cintra because he grew up there. This was him. Oh, right. You know what I mean? This was his. And so he knew all of these things about Cintra and the hidden tunnels and meeting places of the Templars, and of course the Quinta with that big initiation well.
Yes.
And so he then ended up being educated in the UK and then in America, and he thought he'd do that little research book that ended up 10 years of research. Okay. And right, for seeing the book, when you see the book, half of it is just reference points back through the book.
Amazing.
So the first article will start right here at Castro Marim, where the Knights Templars hid. I mean, they hid there from the King of France and the Pope that was trying to kill him in 1307. So they literally hid right there. So I'm going to start with that. And of course,
we don't know we're born, do we? We don't know we're born. A D7 sounds so easy compared to all of that.
But it's so exciting because Portugal was the first nation state in Europe, and people don't know this history.
Oh, well, this is what I was saying with Raquel yesterday and Nunu. This country is so modest. If you want to know how to do a revolution, try this. If you want to write a constitution, we've got a great one of those as well. And this history, this kind of spiritual, transcendent history, because we were told, weren't we, when we were in Tamar, that in terms of chakras and energetics, that Tamar or Portugal itself is the belly button, the kind of navel of the world, which does relate to what Freddie Silver seems to be talking about here, which is portals. And Portela is a very common name for places.
Yes. We'll grab the book.
The windows. Oh, you're off to get your Freddie Silver. Very interesting. Okay. A couple more comments while Veronica's getting the book. I didn't come here before moving here. COVID interfered, but I did do my research. I was not surprised when I got here. I got pretty much what I anticipated. It's been wonderful. And
old guy in Europe, you're so smart and you do everything right. And we love your videos. So let's plug him and say, make sure you're watching An Old Guy in Europe. He comes out with a new one every Friday, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Another one tomorrow. We'd never visited Portugal before moving here, says T-Duck as well, but we had traveled all over Europe, including Spain. So glad. In caps there, we chose Portugal. Yeah, well done, everybody. So Freddie Silver tour, and then you'll be writing about that, but you're already getting started, are you? There you go. There's Freddie Silver.
Yeah. So I've already got the first one because it's in my backyard, and I've done all the research of the castle. And I mean, the papal bull is there on the wall when the Pope says, "Oh, okay, you guys can be in order again," because they were trying to kill them all and take their money, right? That was the goal. Yeah. Take their money, get rid of them. They didn't like that they were kind of saying things against the Catholic Church. So let's kill them all between the King of France, who he did owe them money, and he wouldn't let them be a Templar. So he's a little angry with them. And then the Pope's like, yeah, we need to get rid of these people.
Get rid of these
guys.
Let's
take their money.
That's that's a Monday to Saturday, like in church on Sunday. Amen. And blessings and everything from the papal balcony. Right, come Monday, get those Templars. What's the update from Portugal? Amazing. So you'll be writing about these sorts of topics in your column in the East Algarve, will you?
Yes. So I'll have a monthly column, and it'll be really fun because then I haven't thought about the video component, but I might do some videos to go along with it. So if somebody wants to, then you can only put, in a standard column, even 2 pages, so many photos or whatnot. So I might put a little video and have a little, hidden Portugal series. We'll see.
Well, I was talking to Astrid and Jerry, Expats Portugal, yesterday, and talking about juicing up the webinars a little bit. It sounds like one of these from you about that when you're ready. If you want to do
absolutely.
a webinar, I'd love to talk to you about it and make it into more of a feature length thing that we can talk more about. Rather than you and I could obsess quite easily here, couldn't we? About that?
Easy.
For the next half hour or so, if not more. But we've got Carl Hyde has just joined via his portal, because I mean that's what we're talking about here, isn't it? We're talking about I guess the spiritual equivalent of being on a portal and traveling through dimensions, which in a sense we are doing here. Isn't it amazing that the three of us can be together on one screen because of technology? And we're using sort of tech portals, aren't we, to move around, which is absolutely wonderful. We'll bring him on in just a moment. Bon dia, says Pedder, out walking the dogs, listening on my phone. Lovely. How is it there in Wales this morning? Thank you for that amazing video of you and your tribe, your pack, you and your pack, basically, Pedder. Pedder's pack over there in Wales. How is it this morning? I hope you're well. Let's give him a nice round of applause. And we'll see. Should we just check? Let's see if his portal's working. Bend over, Carl Hyde. Let's have a only kidding. Bend over. What an entrance, if you don't mind.
Hello, Carl. We missed you.
Oh, missed you too.
Great to see you, mate. how are you?
I'm very well, thank you. Yeah, excellent.
Good.
Yeah, just sort of winding down, I guess, for Christmas. It's that time of year, so.
Right. You sound very relaxed, Mr. Hyde.
Yeah, you know what? I wasn't relaxed at the start of this week, and then I think I've just got most of the crap out of the way, kind of thing. And we're going back to the UK for Christmas, so I'm looking forward to that. And I think just getting most things done and sort of approaching that point where we can go, you know what, we're going now. So looking forward to it.
Very good. And are you sporting the man cave tie?
I thought you might notice that. Yeah, I was awarded the Man Cave. I call it Man of the Year award, but I mean it's awarded twice in the year. So, but I got it at the Christmas party, Christmas party last week. So,
okay. Were there any arrests? How was the Man Cave Christmas party this year?
It was very nice. Yeah, no arrests this time. So there's never been any arrests. No.
It wasn't you lot on that coach, was it, in Orient Station?
No, I saw that. That must have been the driver having a heart attack or something. Surely that wasn't.
There was no driver on there. He hadn't left the brake on.
There was no driver. Oh,
I don't think there's anyone on it. And it ran away. And some people might be thinking that guy's, he's finding the quickest way out the bus station there across the pavements and everything.
Well, you could be thinking it was just normal driving in Portugal, to be honest with you.
Yes. We were just joking about the buses. One of my friends took the bus over to Villarreal de Santo Antonio, and I said, "How's it going? Or are you doing well? Or how have you fallen off the bus yet?" Because they go around those roundabouts, and they just like bam, they don't even slow down. And you see everybody in the bus going.
Yeah, they say there's rules on roundabouts, don't they? There's even a video on how to use a roundabout, which no bus driver has ever looked at, I don't think. Yeah. And talking of portals, it's like Harry Potter. There is a small opening in the wall in Caldas de Rainha, which is the entrance to the bus station, right?
Really?
And this was made when it was made for horses at the turn of the century, probably for carriages to go into, but they haven't widened it for coaches. So every time I'm on the coach from San Martino to Caldas de Rainha, I'm getting a bit nervous as we're going down this tiny street, and then the bus driver must be getting in the zone as they swing the bus into this tiny little hole in the wall. And he goes through into a massive space hidden behind the buildings, which is so common in Portugal, isn't it? The ability to hide things here, buildings, car parks, restaurants, shops, it's like it's all hidden behind little holes in the wall, isn't it? And this is no exception. It's quite extraordinary, their skill. But that was a rare exception, I think, and a break in that professionalism of the bus drivers of Portugal. So I hope everyone wasn't too stressed by that. Pam I wonder if you're going by bus. Off to Lisbon today. See, the thing is, it's the safest day to travel after something like that's happened. Leiria has just been announced as the place with the best lights in Portugal this year. I think I passed through there last year around this time. And Leiria is very, very good. But there's some stiff competition. What are your favorite lights so far, Veronica? Hometown?
Well, I sent you that video. Did you get it? It's 60 seconds and it has all the different lights and everything in the Algarve. I don't know if it finally came through.
Let's have a quick look at that then, and we'll come back to Carl, who's probably going to say, yeah, Lisbon always has the best lights.
Of course it's Lisbon for Carl.
Yes. Unless he's got Stockport to compare it to, with a little bit of a surprise from the UK, perhaps. Hold on, let's have a look at this. If you've managed to avoid Mariah Carey so far this year, that took you by surprise, didn't it? That was superb. I was doing backing vocals there while you were singing that, Veronica. What were you doing, Cole? Tapping along on your cajon?
Yeah, I was thinking if you're expecting anything like that from me, you've got another thing going.
Have you just got a charity shop Christmas card to hold up?
Yeah, nothing. No, my wife took the kids to Óbidos. There's a Christmas market there or some kind of Christmas fair. So I couldn't go because I was working, but they loved it. They had a great day there. I don't know what the lights were like, but she said it was a great day. So
I can't think of a better country to be in for celebrating Christmas and Christmas lights. It's incredible. I mean, just last night we were out on the, walking on the beach, pretty much had it to ourselves. A few lads around having a drink at the local bar, and it's all lit up. It's all lit up. There's a Christmas tree you can get inside and take a photo, and it's just so wonderful, the effort people go to in this wonderful country. Antonio is here. Bon dia, happy Thursday, Tony time. Man in the Mino is upon us. Right, Carl, we talked to Veronica about 24 and looking ahead to 25. We'll talk to you more, both of you, and more about that. But how's the year been for you? It's been a busy one, isn't it? It's ended well as well. I think you've got some great sales this year as well.
Yeah, it has been a busy year. It started off very busy, and then for me personally, I kind of took my foot off the gas a little bit, and then sort of just after the summer really started to push again, and it has been really busy. And I'd say this past month, 6 weeks, since the US election, obviously it's gone rather crazy. There's a lot more people asking about coming to Portugal again. So I suspect 2025 is going to be crazy because it will start picking up in January, February, when people really start thinking, I want to be in Portugal by the summer. I want to get my kids in the school for September. Wow. So yeah, I anticipate a wave of clients coming. I mean, I've already started. Crazy times. I reckon.
What went through my mind there is that we should do a show again in the evening to appeal to the American audience. But I'm really not sure because from the conversation we've already had this morning, like people asking, have you got roads there? And Veronica, I mean, I don't want to answer questions like that on a live stream particularly. And, the old running water question, all that stuff. And I'm already here, as Veronica, you were saying, we're already here. How do we get a visa? That kind of that sort of atmosphere is not entirely conducive, is it?
Oh, I think I caught it. I was working while I was listening to the first half of the show. I kind of heard that. I find it strange that people think that that's just a thing that you can do, just land in a country and then think about how you can stay. That's not the way to do it at all.
Well, there are people that haven't traveled, so they don't realize that when they've come through, I just sit with this lady and say, you're here on a tourist visa. Oh, no, I didn't have to fill anything out. I'm like, yeah, you did. When you go through the passport control, he's asking you, what are you doing? Where are you going? He's stamping your passport with the tourist visa. Yeah. You got 3 months to get in and out of the Schengen zone, and you better be out or you will never get a visa once you burn it. If you burn your tourist visa, you'll never get one later because you're a criminal.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Done it wrong.
And not a smooth one either. You get a visa by returning to your home country and applying for one. Dan, an interesting point. Who knew the US would be such a boom to the Portuguese economy? Sure, but this has to be this. I think this needs to be a managed process, doesn't it? It's all about balance, as we've discovered. I think that's what the last few years has taught us, is how these things can be managed appropriately for the benefit of all. And that's a conversation I love to have about how that can happen. I don't mind doing that of an evening. Carl, so 24 has been great. Congratulations on developing your business so brilliantly. And, of course, getting Man of the Year award with the Man Cave tie there. Very good. Oh, that's probably the most precious of your achievements this year.
Highlight of my life.
Yeah, of course. So 2025, what have you got planned?
Honestly, nothing seriously planned. I mean, just more of the same kind of thing. I've got a bit of momentum going at the minute. I've got a lot of clients to speak to in January, so just more of the same. Just keep pushing and try and help people find houses. I would like to do a little bit more of this with you. We keep saying it, but it just you're very busy. I'm very busy, so I'd like to do more of this kind of thing and sort of get out there a bit and meet some more people, because I really do feel that there's a lot more people going to be coming in 2025.
All right. Well, let's. There are dates for the diary. I'm going to be in Batalha with the Expats Portugal crew on the 8th of February for a weekend, and then the 15th we're going to have our first party. We prototyped it last Friday. Karaoke and disco. Come over for that, mate. We can have a cocktail in the Storytellers late afternoon. You can hit the karaoke microphone.
See, I miss so much because some of the groups that we're in on WhatsApp, they get so busy that sometimes you miss things because it's like, there's 30 messages and you're like,
yeah, it is a problem, isn't it? Somebody complained at me yesterday. They said, "Oh, do we? What, another group?" And I said, "Yeah." So I started another group straight away, a group for people in too many groups, and I added them to it. But I mean, this WhatsApp thing, come on, there should be WhatsApp, like WAI WhatsApp, where AI helps you to appropriate all these.
It's not so much complaining about either. It's just noting the fact that they're a great thing. I can't remember the name of the specific one, but it might be the San Martino one. It just gets very busy, and I see things and I think, maybe, but there's just that much chatter going on with it that I'm like, I miss things, because you can imagine, like yourself, I'm in lots of different WhatsApp groups, and you pick up your phone sometimes and think, oh God, where do I begin, kind of thing, So.
I think most people, they think, oh God, Munson's been at it again. He's obviously had a dull moment, and he started 27 more WhatsApp groups. We'll figure it out.
You can turn on disappearing messages too. So in my WhatsApp group for kind of the East Algarve, and I put on disappearing messages, so people can scroll back through. And then anything I think is super important, I keep. But the chatter between, so I'll keep the event until it's over, so people can go back and scroll through. But the messages disappear for the ones that say, oh, where'd you find whatever toothpaste? Oh, it's at this store, that store, that. That's there's some things you just must have, and then like you said, you've missed an event, which someone just mentioned, the Villarreal de Santo Antonio Christmas nativity scene, which is huge here.
That was I cut and pasted that. And I'm suddenly intrigued to know who or what the Christmas pooper is. What is that?
So it's a whole Andalusia thing. So if you Google Christmas crapper, Ashley Crapper, Crapper, he's a little figure and he's pooping. And they put him in the nativity scenes, and he's fertilizing the earth. It's supposed to bring good luck. So in the whole Andalusian peninsula, if you don't have the pooper in your nativity scene, you're doing something wrong. So seriously, Google Christmas crapper, and it's this huge thing. And in the huge one in Villarreal, it's hilarious because they have probably 10 or 20 of these little men, and you kind of forget about the whole nativity scene. You're trying to find the hidden poopers. It's a thing.
Okay, and that is, I think, because you're close to the Spanish border, it is a Spanish import, isn't it? And from the vulgar Spaniards bringing that into our country. Not that we'd ever do anything vulgar. I mean, Caldo.
Well, the whole peninsula was, one thing before it got all divided up, right?
It's true, and we kept the ceramic phalluses, and they got the Christmas crapper. And here he is. I've been replaced by this. There he is. the go-to, the must-have Christmas decoration of the
and
year.
he's called a Carragher. It's kind of like you said from Obadosh, the penises, you know.
Yes.
We have at our Christmas party where we get together the white elephant gift.
One of those Christmas crappers before, I say.
You've never heard of that?
No.
Now you'll see them everywhere.
You'll see why he's wearing a sporting top, to be honest with you.
Yeah, we've lost Carl. Are you getting the Christmas penis?
No, I am actually. How did you know that? You're so psychic, Veronica. But Christmas, you could get into a lot of trouble, couldn't you? You could think you've ordered online a box of Christmas crackers. And instead you get a box of Christmas crackers instead. No, that's what everyone's doing. No, talking of Caldeireña and vulgarity. So here we have a perfectly ordinary umbrella. And if let's face it, if playing Mariah Carey doesn't get us delisted this morning, this umbrella probably will. Okay, so a perfectly ordinary umbrella, and you know in Agadir they've got the coloured umbrellas that hang from the over the streets. Beautiful. It's a very Portuguese motif that. So they've taken it a step further in Caldeireña, and some of them are more gaily and brightly coloured than this. And then when you look closely, as Owen and I did the other day, and we made a little video about it, the handles. I mean, this is really. I could sit here like this now. I'm gonna get.
Pastries are that way too. There's penis pastries everywhere.
Really?
Like even in our square, I had to put one in some of my video and just giggle because I'm like,
yeah.
Penis pastry.
There you go. Embrace it.
Embrace the penis pastry.
So more 2025 then, Carl. Anything
grasp
else?
It, more than embrace it, Carl. Grasp it.
Grasp the nettle of ceramic phallus pottery. Right. Never know what you're going to get. So, Carl,
box of chocolates.
Or Karle, as we're called in Sweden, as I found out yesterday. The short version of Carl is Karle, which is longer, but that's what the Swedes might call you if you ever go there, Carl. What else have you got planned for 2025? What's in your game plan, your battle plan for 25?
Me?
Yeah. I know you want to do, more, get out there more, do more social media and stuff, but presumably what's on the sales front? What are you thinking?
No, really, it just comes from that. I mean, most of this business is you sort of build momentum, and you've got to keep that momentum going. So,
yes.
You list a home, like for example, I sold my neighbour's home recently. I did actually feature it on the show.
Yeah.
And that place really went crazy. We had like 35 viewings in the first week, multiple offers.
Wow.
And we closed that deal about a week ago. 2 weeks ago. So my neighbour's gone now. He's emigrated to Costa Rica. But
he's got as far away from you as possible.
Yeah, that's what he said, actually. He said, I can't wait. But no, the thing is, once you start getting on a roll like that, once you meet more people who are interested in buying and things like that, it does just build. You build relationships with people. You ask them, if that house isn't for them, what do they want? Maybe you can help them. And most people, the answer is no, and they want to work alone. But you do make connections, and you find listings that way. You find new clients that way. So for me, it's just more of that, and it just sort of grows naturally. Doing things like this is great too, because you can sort of reinforce the message that you want to get across and the service that you offer. Yeah. But just having boots on the ground and actually doing the job, which takes a lot of time. It's not just, in the short term, it takes a lot of time, but then over the space of years, you sort of build a reputation and build a client base. So for me, it's simply that really in 2025.
Keep going.
More and more of that, So
because you said you took your foot off the gas. That's what you're talking about. As in real estate, you've got to stay omnipresent and ever.
Yeah, I've just been. I think I was a little bit burned out at the end of 20. I lost track. End of 2023, I did quite a few deals coming into 2024, and then just at the start of the year, I did take my foot off the gas a little bit. And then before you know it, you're entering the summer, family are coming and things like this, and you become busy with other things. So you're still doing real estate, of course, but perhaps it wasn't 100% of my focus. A lot of other things going on in my life. And then I've just sort of changed things around a little bit, and now it's more structured and, keep going. You've got to be relentless in this business, because if you do take your foot off the gas, it all falls away. You've just got to keep going and know that. Honestly, I mean, I know Veronica will agree. 95% of what you do is not going to achieve any meaningful results. It's just the way it is, but it is part of the business. You've got to sort the wheat from the chaff, you know, and there's a lot of chaff. And
there's a lot of chaff. I do that for my agents, so I'm the filter, right? I've got the thousands that come in and write and fill out forms, and I don't pass them to the agent until they're ready and they're looking and they're serious and they're committed to working with only that one agent. I know I passed one and then they.
Yeah, but I mean, no, Veronica has passed a few people to me, and they've been very good leads. So that's part of it. But it's easy to get a little bit downbeat with it, because not to be a downer just before Christmas, but it's a tough business, and it's easy to let it get to you. So you just got to keep being positive about it, and then think. At the start, I would say, well, that was a wasted day, or I drove here and it was a waste. Now I never say that it's a waste. It's just all part of the system. At the end of the year, you've done the business you've done. A lot of it in between will be, I drove to the Algarve to show some properties, or I did. I've done all that. I've done all that, and it just doesn't work out. But then you do one in 10 times you do it, and you get the business. So momentum for me, 2025, just momentum. Keep momentum going.
Very good.
You need a good filter too. And sometimes that's where, even though if your spouse has the kids or whatnot, it gives them something interesting to do to kind of continue help you filter. And hey, these three look real. Why don't you work with these? And I'm going to keep emailing these, or, whether it's an assistant or a partner, you really need that in real estate. And in real estate, to all those agents out there, time blocking is so important, so you don't burn out. So you have that time that's the family time, and you just tell people during this time to this time, this is the block for family. This is the block for business. This is the block for showings. This is the block for returning emails. This is the block for advertising. Do you know
one of the best things I started doing on that was I now sort of have an hour or two on Sunday evening. So instead of waking up on Monday and thinking, oh my God, there is so much to do on Monday morning. Now I sort of get into it at like 9 o'clock on a Sunday evening. So I wake up on Monday and think, I've got most of that's out of the way, so I can actually just get going with it, with a little bit of energy. So just small tweaks.
Very good.
To the way you work, kind of thing,
Yeah.
So boundaries and relentlessness. It just sounded like a Phil Dunphy quote for a minute.
And assistance.
Yeah, absolutely. I had the voice of Phil Dunphy in my head from Modern Family saying, Luke, did you know that an anagram of real estate is relentlessness? It's the sort of thing he would start one of his adverts like that, wouldn't he? But anyway, here's to you and a year of relentlessness and good boundaries as well for next year. We've got a God Squad tip of the day to cover. We do need to open another window.
And I have a rental that just popped up. Even though I say I don't do rentals, there is a rental that just popped up. I did send you that video. It's only like
15-second one. Let's have a quick look at this, and we'll have a look at a dream home as well. If you win the Euro Millions over the Christmas period, we've got a beautiful property for you from the agency as well. So let's have a look at this rental. Sorry, that was very dramatic music there, and we couldn't hear you during that, Veronica. Tell us a bit more about that. Sorry, that was a little bit loud.
So that's a one bedroom, but also has a studio. It's 2 blocks to the beach in Monte Gordo, which is the very big beach with lots of cafes. And it's $1,500 a month. It starts January 15th. And that came through Joao, who's my neighbor that I also recruited because he's local and people know he does rentals. So they continue to feed him rentals. And they're few and far between. So for the people who do need a visa, which you need a rental to get a visa, that's an opportunity, but it'll be gone like that. I mean, and it comes with a parking spot, which is huge because when you're in those beach towns, parking is impossible. So one bedroom, which is a T1, then a studio in addition to the outside space, and $1,500 a month.
And then jump on Rent Out My Yard. What was it? That car parking app. You could rent out the car parking space if you didn't have one, could you? And attenuate your rental on that basis. Check the terms and conditions of your lease agreement to make sure that it is above board. But what a lovely pocket listing there. Thank you for that. Monte Gordo, $1,500 a month for a T1 there. So it's a T1 plus one. Is that an accurate description of that?
That's good, yeah.
Very good. A real estate question. Do you feel that there is a greater influx of people from other countries buying more houses? We have given the Americans some heat this morning, haven't we? And the buying habits and interest in Portugal from Americans. What else? Let's start with you, Carl, on that. What other nationalities are calling you at the moment?
We have a lot of people coming from Brazil.
Do you? Right, interesting.
Yeah. I mean, our CEO, Irish, was born in Brazil, so we've actually done a few trips there recently. We sent like 5 or 6 agents went there in October, actually just looking at developments in Brazil. Obviously, that's part of a reciprocal thing where we're trying to build bonds and create business between the two countries. So we get a lot of people from Brazil. There's a lot of wealth in Brazil, you know, wealthy Brazilians that want to come here and invest in property. So we get a lot of that. Obviously, the US and Canada. And then the rest of it, I mean, it's just a smattering of sort of everywhere. Germany, South Africa. There seems to be quite a lot of South Africans here. A lot of South Africa. You know, so I don't know the history of that and why that is, but you bump into them all the time. So they're the two main markets for us, US and Brazil, Canada, and then just like a smorgasbord of everything else, you know, every other country, wherever you can.
Who doesn't like a smorgasbord? Absolutely. Thanks, Carl. What about you, Veronica? What about nationalities?
I think in the Algarve, we see more British. We see a lot of snowbirds, the Dutch, Italians. There are some Americans, but nothing to the extent that it's been made out to be. So when you still look at the immigration pie, it's like a teeny sliver. I think it's just because the one company is marketing so heavily and maybe not being honest with people. Those are maybe the ones that come and are disenfranchised and go home. But yeah, definitely South Africa, Germany, any of the colder countries, because we have the warmth there, right? It's another warm day today. So you get a smattering. I think by far the British are still the biggest. We don't get a lot of Brazilians here. Again, the Algarve, there's no employment. So do not come here looking for a job. There's the only thing, there's no industry in the Algarve. What we have is hospitality and restaurants. There's no industry.
It does surprise me when I see it. And I know there's a lot of different kind of jobs people can do, you know, and different ages may have different sort of salary bands, but I'm always quite surprised when you get sort of professionals who are saying like, can I be a nurse? I'm a registered nurse in the US or the UK, and can I do this in Portugal? And, you know, I think first of all, you're going to have a major issue with the language barrier. And then secondly, what you've got to understand is, and which is one of the shames about Portugal, is the salary that you're going to get here is going to be nothing like what you're used to. I mean, compared with the US, certainly, but even compared with the UK, you know, it's vastly different.
Well, on your team, you've got, I can't believe I'm forgetting her name. She's Australian and Italian, and she was a psychologist, Marta, and she couldn't get her licenses moved over here as a psychologist. That's like the high level, right? PhD degree almost. And so she became an agent.
And she's a power agent, let me tell you. So they probably did her.
I love Marta, and her accent's great.
She seems to make a sale every day, doesn't she? You see, just sign the CPCV on this one and that one and that one.
Yeah, she's very good at what she does. But it's a good example of even if you do. I mean, look, I can give you an example. I know I know a few, but somebody that an acquaintance of mine worked at a Portuguese school up until the end of the last school year, so just before they broke for summer, and they were on about €900 a month, maybe a little more. I think it was 900 a month, and then they let them go in the summer and said you reapply for the job in August, start again in September. So this is a school teacher at a Portuguese school. So some of the most important jobs in society here we're talking about, you know, teaching the next generations. You're already on a poor salary, and then you get let go for 10 weeks in the summer. So and
also reapply for your job come the new term.
And you lose benefits. You have to
exactly. And it's because they don't want to pay you. So you wonder why you have a brain drain and things like this. So
that's got to be
it's not to. Life here is fantastic, but if you're coming here to look for a job, particularly in a profession, you may find it very difficult. You may be have prepare yourself for a significant salary adjustment if you are lucky enough to get a job in that field.
Yeah. Look, as a last resort, there's always selling real estate. I think Antonio has his tongue in his cheek here. Anybody can do it, licensed or not. Well, we're finding out. We'll talk about sorting the wheat from the chaff. We've got the cream of real estate here, and people do think that, don't they, Antonio? But they soon get sorted out when they go into the industry.
I know he's joking, but it's so true.
No, it's true.
It is true.
People do think that anyone can do it. And let me tell you, I've seen so many people come into this business. I've been doing it 3 years now. I've seen so many people come in and they exit very, very quickly because it is a tough business to be in. Let me tell you, really tough.
I bet you're sort of quietly thinking, congratulating them. You don't want to be peeing on their chips, as we say in the UK, but you must be thinking, I'm not sure. This one's not going to last. This one might. Yeah.
One less shark in the tank.
There you go. Can we say again, only go to a referred agent?
Yes.
You have to have multiple referrers. These people come in today, they're, I don't know, selling cars, or tomorrow they're agents. There is no licensing requirement. So you need a Carl, that he's obviously referred by you, referred by me. He's had 3 years in the industry. He's doing a good job. He's honest. He's with a reputable company. There are scammers out there. There's, people who have sold properties that don't exist. They take people's money and then they're gone. There's online scams.
Do a whole show on that. The horror stories that I've heard. I'm not going to it, but I heard one this week from another client and horror stories. But anyway, that aside.
Yeah, but so just please get a referral, get a referral.
Yeah,
because we made the point that I think a lot of these agencies just hire anyone because they hope you've got your 2 or 3 contacts. After they've burned through your contacts, you're gone and they're on to the next person. So it's not nice. And it's not to say they're all shady, but there's a lot of shady out there too. So
you need to sort that out and find someone decent to work with. Talking of agencies, there's the agency right here, and at 4.35 is this beautiful. We love these Estoril, Cascais, outside of Lisbon sort of properties. Very handy for the capital. This is a beauty presented by your colleague Christopher. What have we got here?
By Christopher. Christopher's another.
They are, aren't they? He's got the cream of the property crop, hasn't he?
Yeah, we just talked about Marta before. He and Marta, they have currently the most expensive property in Portugal available.
Do they?
So they're really sort of pushing the boundaries kind of thing. This property is in kind of the heart of Estoril. Really is in a very highly desirable neighbourhood.
Gorgeous.
600 meters from the beach.
Wow.
4 bedrooms, 4 bathrooms, beautiful garden, lots and lots of privacy, an amazing property.
It looks like a large lot too, which is really rare in Estoril.
Yeah, definitely, and it's surrounded, so you I just said it, but you have that privacy. You've not got people looking in, which can be hard because places like Cascais and Estoril can be quite built up. Very desirable areas. A lot of people live there, so if you can get somewhere where you're not overlooked, then obviously all the better. We all want privacy. Nobody wants people looking in, but it's an amazing place.
4 bathrooms though. I mean, how am I going to remember which bathroom I've left my phone in? That's a problem, but I think I could overcome that. This is amazing. Get in touch with the agency for this. I'll put the link. Yeah, when are we going to get Christopher back on as well there, Carl?
We'll in the new year. We'll figure something out. Genuinely, he's so busy. On any given day, he's doing viewings. He's got so many fantastic listings, but he would love to come back on the show. So, like I say,
some exciting projects as well outside with his motor racing as well. It's always interesting.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's amazing what he does. It's amazing what you can do when you've not got kids.
Yeah, Christopher. Right, okay.
Hey, Marta has kids. No excuses. Marta has kids.
But she's a woman, right? That's her superpower right there. God's score tip of the day then, and the advent calendar. Sorry to keep you, everybody, but it's been so much fun chatting as ever. And thank you, incidentally, both of you, for your service to the community in this year, 2024. Looking forward to being on the screen with you again like this in the new year. 2 more facets of the healthiest 1% of over 50s are more mental than physical. Firstly, they tend to have a purpose. There we go. Whether that's work, volunteering, or a project, a purpose makes the brain work, keeping it active. The second we touched on the other day, and that's social interaction. Family, friends, or just a bloke down the pub. We are social animals. We need it. We'll hopefully talk about this tomorrow on the show. Yeah, we'll see Coach Turner tomorrow and bring all of this off the page and chat more about it. And if you need a bloke down the pub, volunteer, and that could tick two birds with one stone, couldn't it? Somebody could be the purpose. You could give them a purpose by being there. They could be your bloke down the pub. How about that? That would be a lovely little directory to start up. The Advent calendar, it's going very well. We've got some of the best Christmas memes over here. Isn't he beautiful? Elvis there.
Yes.
The Bailey's breakfast. Look at John's cat destroying his tree. That tree looks nothing like that, I can tell you. Saw him on Tuesday night online. They got the Portuguese Christmas tree. Look, I don't know if you saw this one, Carl. This is from up your way in the north of England. Welcome to the Bury Santa experience, which upset quite a few children. The burying Santa experience.
It's literally my town basically.
Really. Okay, so we got a new one today. We're going to refresh the page, and we got a new one today. Another one. I think
Grumpy Kitty.
T-Duck is winning the Advent calendar so far. There's still time. We've got 20, 21, and 22 and 23 to fill. If I refresh this page, hopefully you will see that. Oh, I pressed the wrong button again. This keeps happening. Hold on a minute. Let me just bring today's. Hold on. There you go, Veronica. Let me just bring the Advent calendar back onto the screen and show you today's. It's another stunning tree. Everybody, so check it out. But it still hasn't loaded yet. And just one more refresh. Hang on a minute. It's going to be lunchtime soon, isn't it? And we'll still be here with all this palaver.
It's fine. Those that want to stay can stay, and those that don't.
Wait. Look at that for a Christmas tree. The 19th today.
Honey. Is that chicken feet? Green chicken feet, like a Grinch? A dinosaur.
It's a tree Rex. Tree Rex, everybody. There you go.
Scare the kids. They'll never want to have Christmas again.
My little boy loves that.
One less job to do at Christmas there. All right, fantastic. Thank you very much. There's your details, right, Veronica? Info at an American, not an American, info at the American in Portugal. But no, you don't put the. She is the American in Portugal, and her email address is info@americaninportugal.com. What about for you, Carl? How do people get in touch?
Well, I guess I should have sent him my email address, but it's carl.hyde@theagencyre.com. Or I can contact you and get the
913. Absolutely, I'll put you in touch.
You can type it in the notes or underneath, Carl, so that
way you can
look in the notes below.
Yeah, I'll put it in the notes. And I think I normally do. So thank you both so much. Been lovely this year. Let's look forward to some more fun. It's going to be an interesting year, isn't it? It's the We'll See year, isn't it? 2025. But we'll be having a lot of fun here on the Good Morning Portugal show. Thank you, Carl. Thank you, Veronica.
Okay.
Happy holidays, everyone.
Have a great day, everybody. See you tonight, maybe on the webinars. Bye for now.
In Portugal, there's a YouTube show full of fun facts you need to know. Carl rings the bell and the members show to the GMP morning show. Featured guests will come and they will blow your mind. The audience will do so in kind. The little vanity mixed with some insanity on the morning show with GMP.